height, dim the streets in moonlight bright. We dissect the cinematic art, real by real we pull apart.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the films that shape us, challenge us, and open our eyes to new ways of thinking. I'm your host Josh, and today I am thrilled to explore a truly extraordinary piece of cinema. A film that is as heartbreaking as it is hopeful, and as intimate as it is universal. Today I'm talking about 2015's Mustang, a breathtakingly poignant work directed by Deniz Gamze Ergüven. And this film takes us to rural Turkey, where the lives of 5 orphaned sisters are forever changed after a seemingly innocent game with their male classmates is blown completely out of proportion. What follows is a journey filled with love, pain, defiance, but above all, resilience, as these sisters navigate the tightening grip of their conservative guardians. Now, if you're familiar with the film that we just recently reviewed, Sofia Coppola's The Virgin Suicides, you might find yourself drawing comparisons, and that's not unwarranted. Both of these films revolve around a group of sisters whose lives are shaped by the stifling forces of patriarchal control. But let me tell you, Mustang stands tall as a cinematic masterpiece in its own right. This is a vibrant, raw, fiercely alive offering a perspective that is as culturally specific as is universally relatable. Today, I'll be peeling back the layers of this remarkable film. I'll explore the powerful themes of sisterhood and rebellion, examine the cultural context that shapes its narrative, and discuss how it redefines the coming-of-age genre through a uniquely female lens. But more than that, Mustang isn't just a film. This should be a conversation starter. It invites us to reflect on societal norms, the dynamics of freedom and oppression, and the indomitable spirit of those who refuse to be silenced. It's no surprise that this film has captivated audiences worldwide and earned an Academy Award nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. So settle in. Whether, like me, you're revisiting this gem or you're discovering it for the first time, I promise you this is a conversation you're not going to want to miss. So let's take a moment to dive deeper into the incredible mind behind Mustang. Deniz Gamze Ergüven is a filmmaker whose work has resonated both culturally specific and universal appeal. She was born in Turkey but raised in France. Ergüven embodies a fascinating blend of East and West, and that multicultural perspective is woven into every frame of this film. Ergüven's journey as a filmmaker began at La Famille, the prestigious film school in Paris that has produced some of the most influential voices in cinema. It was here that she honed her craft, experimenting with storytelling techniques that blend raw emotional honesty with sharp social commentary. This duality, the personal vulnerability and cultural critique, is kind of what makes her work so distinctive. The seeds for Mustang were planted in Ergüven's own experiences as a young woman, navigating the complexities of cultural expectations and rigid gender norms. In interviews, she's spoken about the emotional and psychological weight of growing up in a society where traditional values often dictate the roles and behavior of women. This personal connection gives the film its incredible authenticity. It's not just a story that Ergüven wants to tell, it's a story that she needs to tell. And to bring this vision to life, Ergüven teamed up with French screenwriter Alice Winocourt, and together they crafted a screenplay that is extremely personal and deeply resonant. Their collaboration here strikes this perfect balance between poignancy and power, creating characters and situations that are all too real. And like I said, Mustang was released in 2015, a pivotal moment in the global discourse on gender equality and women's rights. Movements like the Me Too had yet to explode onto the scene, but conversations around the oppression of women and the push for gender equity were gaining momentum. The timing of Mustang felt serendipitous. It provided a cinematic lens through which audiences could confront these issues. And the film doesn't just criticize the patriarchal norms that suffocate its protagonists. It also celebrates the resilience and agency of women who fight back. The film also arrived during a cultural moment when indie cinema was truly flourishing. This period saw a surge in films amplifying underrepresented voices, particularly those of women and people from marginalized communities. Ergüven's ability to break through with Mustang was part of this wave, and her work has become emblematic of the shift toward more inclusive storytelling. Cinematically, Mustang is stunning in just how simple it is and its emotional impact. Ergüven draws on her multicultural background to blend this European art house aesthetic with vibrant textures of rural Turkey. From the warm, sun-drenched cinematography to the evocative score by Warren Ellis, every element of the film invites us to step into this world where these five sisters are and experience their triumphs and heartbreaks firsthand. This cultural and cinematic convergence really make Mustang a groundbreaking piece of art, and it's no wonder that the film earned widespread acclaim, culminating in that Academy Award nomination. But perhaps more importantly, it cemented Ergüven's place as one of the most compelling voices in contemporary cinema. A storyteller unafraid to tackle uncomfortable truths while celebrating the enduring spirit and strength of the human soul. Now, Mustang is a deeply emotional story of freedom and confinement, rebellion and conformity. The film begins with a deceptively innocent moment. Five sisters, full of youthful exuberance, splash and play in the sea with their male classmates. It's a scene brimming with joy, innocence, and the carefree nature of childhood. But in their conservative, rural Turkish community, this seemingly harmless act is deemed scandalous, a gross violation of those societal norms. This single event becomes a catalyst for a series of heartbreaking developments that reshape the girls' lives. The sisters are abruptly pulled from school, and their home is transformed into a fortress, a place meant to protect their virtue, but feels more like a prison. Iron bars go up on the windows, their clothing becomes more conservative, and arranged marriages begin to loom over their heads like an inevitable fate. Now, here what makes Mustang so poignant is how it captures these suffocating circumstances, while simultaneously celebrating the indomitable spirit of its protagonists. At the center of this narrative is the youngest sister, and I'll be terrible at pronouncing these, but Lale, whose fiery spirit and unyielding determination to resist conformity serve as the film's beating heart. Lale isn't just the protagonist, she's a symbol of hope and a reminder that even in the most oppressive conditions, resistance is possible. Her bravery isn't just inspiring, it's contagious. Through her eyes, we see a refusal to accept the injustices opposed on her and her sisters. The dynamic between the sisters is an extremely compelling aspect of this film. Ergüven crafts each sister with distinct traits, ensuring that they're more than just a collective entity. It's not just the five sisters. We already talked about Lale, and then there's Sonay, the eldest. She's the rebel, unafraid to push back against the restrictions placed upon her. Her defiance is a form of empowerment, and she refuses to let her spirit be crushed. Selma, in contrast, is quieter, more reserved. She complies outwardly, but there's a depth to her character that speaks volumes about the silent suffering endured by so many in her position. Isi processes her pain internally, often seeking solace in escapism, which becomes kind of her way of coping with the weight of reality. And then there's Nur, who's caught between compliance and rebellion, kind of representing the tension of wanting to please those around her while still yearning for her own personal freedom. These personalities create these rich sibling dynamics. Their interactions swing from moments of joy and solidarity, like sneaking into one another's rooms to share secrets or dream about the future, to these instances of tension and heartache, reflecting the multifaceted nature of familial bonds. But despite their differences, what unites them is an unbreakable sense of sisterhood. And Ergüven's direction ensures that we feel every moment of joy, pain, and defiance. She collaborates with cinematographer David Chizaleh to create this atmosphere that is suffocating but tender. The camera often lingers in tight enclosed spaces, emphasizing the physical and emotional confinement of the sisters, but it also captures their moments of quiet rebellion, small, powerful acts of resistance that remind us of their humanity and agency over their lives. Another striking aspect of Mustang is its unapologetically female perspective. Ergüven doesn't just tell us a coming-of-age story. She sort of redefines what that is. While traditional narratives in the genre often focus on an individual growth, Mustang shifts the focus to the collective experience. The sisters' journey is one of shared pain and shared resilience. Together, they are stronger, and the film repeatedly emphasizes the power of unity over individualism. The narrative also subverts the familiar tropes. While the film acknowledges the dangers and oppressions the sisters face, it kind of resists the temptation to present them as mere victims. Instead, it highlights their agency, their ability to fight back in ways big and small. From their playful games to their widespread dreams of escape, every act becomes a statement. We will not be erased. Mustang is a testament to that resilience, the resilience of women in the face of a systemic oppression. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of circumstances, the human spirit still finds a way to shine through. Ergüven has created a story that is specific and resonant, a coming-of-age tale that feels entirely fresh, while still carrying the timeless themes. This exploration of narrative and character is why Mustang really continues to captivate audiences. It's a statement, a celebration of courage, and a call to action. When it comes to themes, Mustang is sort of a treasure trove. This is a film that doesn't merely tell a story. It invites us to question, reflect, and connect. Mustang is a searing examination of the clash between tradition and modernity, of individual freedom against societal expectations. In this tension, Ergüven crafts a poignant commentary on the weight of gender inequality and the ways patriarchal systems seek to control women's bodies, choices, and very identities. Thematically, this film resonates across cultures because it grapples with questions that are universal. Who decides what a woman can or cannot do? How do societal norms shape, restrict, or empower us? And perhaps, most importantly, how do we resist when those norms confine us? These questions make Mustang maybe even more relevant today than it was upon its release in 2015. But Mustang isn't just a critique of oppression. It's a love letter to the unbreakable bond of sisterhood. This theme of unity is inarguably the film's emotional heartbeat. The sisters' connection is their sanctuary, their source of strength, and their collective act of defiance against a world that seeks to break them apart. Their bond is beautifully nuanced. It's not about solidarity and adversity. It's about the shared joys, arguments, secrets, and dreams that define a sibling relationship. Through Ergüven's lens, we see how sisterhood becomes an unspoken language, a shared glance, a knowing smile, or even an angry outburst that ultimately circles back to love. The film's ability to capture this intricate dynamic is one of its most profound achievements. Ergüven doesn't just rely on dialogue or plot to communicate her themes. She weaves them into the very fabric of the film, through which the rich, layered symbolism can be seen. So first we have hair as a metaphor for freedom. One of the most striking, recurring images in Mustang is the sisters' long, flowing hair. It's more than just a physical characteristic. It's a metaphor for their untamed spirits and individuality. Their hair is wild and free, much like their inner selves, and as the film progresses, it becomes a silent but powerful reminder of what is being suppressed. In cultures where control over women's appearance often reflects broader societal control, this image takes on a profound significance. And then one we mentioned earlier, the house as prison. Another key symbol here is that house itself. At the beginning of the film, it feels like a home, a place of comfort, familial love. But after the incident at the beach, the house transforms into something else entirely different. Bars up on the windows, locks on the doors, and the walls close in on the sisters. The house, once a symbol of safety, becomes a suffocating prison. This transformation is a stark visual representation of the girls' loss of freedom and autonomy. Interestingly, the house also mirrors their inner resilience. Despite its oppressive nature, the sisters find ways to reclaim small spaces for themselves, whether it's whispering plans of escape or sharing moments of laughter. These acts of defiance make the house not just a symbol of confinement, but also a battleground for their agency. And then there's food and family as symbols of control. Throughout the film, we see how traditional family gatherings and rituals, normally symbols of love and connection, are weaponized to enforce control. Meals become sites of tension, where the weight of expectations bears down on the sisters. These scenes illustrate how even mundane aspects of daily life can be infused with power dynamics. Then there's Ergüven's use of light and color that really elevates Mustang from a powerful narrative to an evocative work of art. In the opening scenes, the warm golden hues convey the innocence, the joy, and the boundless energy of the sisters' lives. These early moments are suffused with light, both literally and metaphorically, as we see the girls at their most free. As the story progresses, though, the visual palette shifts. The golden tones fade, replaced by muted grays and cold blues. The lighting grows harsher, mirroring the increasing oppression and despair that permeates their lives. This gradual shift in color and light isn't just a stylistic choice, it's an emotional one, pulling the audience deeper into the sisters' experiences. Even in its darker moments, there are flickers of light that persist. These moments remind us of the sisters' resilience and their refusal to let their spirits be fully extinguished. Whether it's a ray of sunlight breaking through a window, or the soft glow of candlelight during a quiet moment, the interplay of light and shadow becomes a narrative device in its own right. Another very compelling aspect of Mustang is the exploration of rebellion, not as a grand dramatic gesture, but as a series of small, quiet acts. From sneaking out of the house to arranging their own marriages on their terms, the sisters find ways to assert their agency within the constraints imposed upon them. These acts of defiance are deeply symbolic. They remind us that the resistance isn't always loud or overt. It can be as simple as refusing to let go of a dream, or daring to hope for a better future. Through these moments, Mustang captures the essence of what it means to fight back in the face of overwhelming odds. Ultimately, Mustang transcends its specific cultural context to tell a story about the human desire for freedom. It's a story that I think resonates across borders because the themes of oppression, resilience, and the fight for autonomy are ones that touch us all. Whether we see ourselves in the sisters' struggles or recognize their story in the lives of others, Mustang invites us to reflect on our own roles in challenging injustice. And Ergüven's masterful use of themes and symbolism ensures that Mustang becomes an experience, a call to empathy, and a celebration of the unbreakable human spirit. When Mustang premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in 2015, it took the cinematic world by storm. Critics lauded its raw emotional storytelling and its fearless confrontation of gender politics. The film's ability to balance its intimate portrayal of the sisters' lives with a broader social critique earned it a standing ovation at Cannes and the prestigious Europa Cinemas Label Award for Best European Film. But Mustang's journey didn't stop there. It continued to captivate audiences around the world, culminating in a nomination for Best Foreign Language Film at the 88th Academy Awards. This nomination was a landmark moment, not just for Deniz Gamze Ergüven, but for Turkish cinema as a whole. It signaled a growing recognition of the power of international and independent films to tell stories that resonate globally. Now, Mustang was looked at by critics differently because of its ability to be deeply personal and resonant. Reviewers praised Ergüven's direction for its delicate balance of tenderness and urgency, as well as her refusal to shy away from the uncomfortable truths about patriarchy and oppression. The performances of the 5 lead actresses, most of whom were making their film debuts, was universally celebrated. Their natural chemistry brought the bond of sisterhood to life in a way that felt authentic and heartbreaking and real. Critics noted that the young cast, under Ergüven's careful guidance, carried the film with a maturity and emotional depth far beyond their years. Beyond its Oscar nomination, Mustang earned numerous accolades, including nominations and wins at the César Awards, the Lumière Awards, and the European Film Awards. It became a symbol of the strength of independent cinema and a shining example of the power of storytelling to bridge cultural divides. But despite its critical success, Mustang still faced challenges in breaking into mainstream markets. As an independent, foreign language film, it had to navigate the often limited distribution channels available to non-Hollywood productions. Its themes, though universal, were rooted in a specific cultural context, that some audiences may have initially found unfamiliar. However, these challenges only underscore the film's ultimate triumph. The very barriers that could have limited its reach became part of its narrative. Mustang demonstrated the importance of amplifying marginalized voices and offering perspectives that often go unheard. The impact of Mustang extended beyond its own story. It became a source of inspiration for other filmmakers, particularly women and creators from underrepresented communities. Ergüven's success opened doors and set a precedent for telling stories that center on marginalized voices. The film also reignited conversations about the importance of female representation, both on screen and behind the camera. Ergüven's vision as a female director brought a unique perspective to Mustang that resonated with audiences and critics alike. Her success proved once again that women's stories, when told authentically, can captivate and challenge the world. As time has passed, Mustang has solidified its place as a modern classic. Its themes remain just as relevant today, if not more so than they were in 2015. And its ability to invoke empathy and provoke thought has not diminished. What makes Mustang truly timeless is its ability to transcend its cultural and temporal moment. Audiences from all walks of life continue to find something relatable in the film. Whether it's the struggle for freedom, the power of sisterhood, or the quiet acts of rebellion against oppressive systems, the film speaks to this universal human desire for agency and connection, making it resonate across generations and geographies. Beyond its cinematic achievements, Mustang has had a lasting cultural and social impact. It sparked important conversations about gender inequality, particularly in patriarchal societies, and highlighted the resilience and agency of women. Its release coincided with a global wave of movements advocating for women's rights, adding to its resonance and urgency. For many viewers, Mustang was more than just a film, it was a call to action. It challenged audiences to reflect on the ways in which societal norms can limit individual freedom and inspired them to advocate for change. Mustang may have begun as a deeply personal story for Ergüven, but it has grown into something larger. It's a film that I think continues to inspire, challenge, and connect with audiences around the world. Its reception and impact remind us of the power of cinema to shine a light on the human experience and to amplify voices that demand to be heard. In the years since its release, Mustang has not only maintained its relevance, but also deepened its legacy. It stands as a testament to the enduring power of storytelling to bridge divides, challenge norms, and celebrate the resilience of the human spirit. So why does Mustang matter? Why, nearly a decade after its release, do we continue to talk about this film? Does this film still come up? Because Mustang is a mirror, a magnifying glass, and a megaphone. It reflects the lives of countless young women, examines the societal norms that constrain them, and amplifies their voices, often silenced or overlooked. Mustang dares to tell the truth. It confronts uncomfortable realities, gender inequality, societal control, and the oppressive weight of tradition, all while weaving a story filled with hope, resilience, and quiet rebellion. This duality is what makes Mustang so extraordinary. It doesn't shy away from the darkness, but it also shows the light of resistance, love, and solidarity. Mustang exemplifies the transformative power of storytelling. Films have a unique ability to open our eyes to new perspectives, challenge the status quo, and plant the seeds of empathy and understanding. By telling the story of 5 sisters navigating their loss of freedom, Mustang challenges viewers to consider the structures of control in their own lives and societies. But what makes Mustang particularly significant is its ability to connect with a global audience. While its setting is deeply rooted in Turkish culture, its themes, freedom, resistance, and the bonds of sisterhood, transcend borders. It's a reminder that oppression takes many forms, and that the struggle for gender equality is far from over, no matter where you are in the world. And then modern audiences have much to learn from Mustang. For one, it reminds us of the importance of creating spaces where all voices, especially those of marginalized groups, can be heard. The sisters' journey is a powerful argument for why representation matters. Their story might have remained untold, or worse, misunderstood, if not for Deniz Gamze Ergüven's courageous vision as a filmmaker. The film also encourages us to reflect on systems of oppression in our own lives. While not everyone faces the same challenges as the sisters in Mustang, the underlying dynamics of control, conformity, and resistance are universal. The film invites us to ask difficult questions. How do societal expectations limit our freedom? How can we resist these constraints? And how can we support others in their fight for autonomy? But perhaps the most enduring message of Mustang is its celebration of resilience and solidarity. The sisters' bond is their sanctuary, their source of strength in the face of adversity. Their acts of defiance, whether big or small, serve as a reminder that resistance is possible, even in the most oppressive circumstances. This emphasis on sisterhood is one of the film's greatest strengths. In a world that often pits individuals against one another, Mustang shows the power of unity. The sisters' collective courage is what ultimately allows them to dream of freedom, even in their darkest moments. Mustang is a film that you engage with. It's a call to action for audiences to recognize and challenge injustice, both in their communities and on a larger scale. It reminds us that cinema isn't just about entertainment, it's about sparking conversations, inspiring change, and giving a voice to those who might otherwise go unheard. Mustang endures because it speaks to the human spirit. It's a story of defiance in the face of oppression, of love in the face of despair. Its significance lies not only in its critique of patriarchal norms, but also in its ability to celebrate the unbreakable bonds that give us strength. As we continue to navigate a world grappling with issues of gender equality, representation, and freedom, Mustang stands as a beacon of hope and a challenge to do better. It's a reminder that films like this aren't just stories. They're catalysts for change, testaments to resilience, and celebrations of the enduring power of human connection. So before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to share my personal connection to Mustang. I first saw this film when the Academy Award nominations were announced back in 2016. I got to go to a small little theater called The Flicks near me and watch this film on the big screen. It was more than a cinematic experience. As a father of 3 young daughters at the time, it was an emotional journey. It's rare to find a movie that captures the raw, bittersweet essence of adolescence so authentically. Mustang doesn't just tell a story, it really immerses you in the sisters' world, their heartbreak, their joy, and most importantly, their unyielding hope. There's a scene near the end of the film, don't worry, no spoilers, where Lale takes a bold stand. That moment stuck with me because it reminded me of the times in our lives when we've had to summon courage against all odds. Mustang resonates because it reflects universal truths about resilience, freedom, and the power of connection. It's for all these reasons and so many more that I give Mustang a perfect 10 out of 10. This is an experience, a mirror to society, and a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who dare to dream of a better life. Next week on Real Talk will be the last of this part of the series. It'll lighten up a little bit after this film, but we're going to talk about 2007's Persepolis, directed by Marjane Satrapi. And if you haven't seen it yet, I can't recommend it enough. This animated film explores themes of identity, revolution, and the struggle to find a sense of belonging. Much like Mustang, it's a deeply personal story with universal appeal. And while it takes us to a different cultural context, its message about the fight for freedom and individuality is just as powerful. Trust me, you won't want to miss this one. As always, I encourage you to watch Mustang if you haven't already. And if you have, I want to hear from you. Did the sisters' journey resonate with you as deeply as it did with me? What themes stood out to you the most? Was there a specific moment that left a lasting impression? This podcast thrives on conversations we spark together, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts. You can reach out on social media at Real Talk on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky, at Real Talk Pod whenever I show up on X. So don't hesitate to share your thoughts there. Comment section of this podcast page. And thank you for tuning in. I hope today's episode has inspired you to see Mustang or see it in a new light. Films like these remind us of the power of storytelling to shed light on hidden truths, spark meaningful conversations, and connect us across cultures and experiences. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a rating, share it with your friends. Your support really helps continue to bring thoughtful discussions about the films that matter most. Until next time, this is Josh Bell reminding you that every reel has a story to tell. So until next time, keep watching, keep loving, and hey, keep those reels rolling. Thank you.
Underneath the silver screen, gleam, talking reels and all their schemes. Dusty scenes and dreams unfold, stories told in shadows bold. Gritty plots and whispers tight, dim the streets and moonlight bright. We dissect the city.